Finally out, only after a slight wait. This is part 2. I'm really excited to share with you this part of my journey to becoming a proper Destiny 2 player. I did stuff like raids, reaching the power cap and more. Go check out the first part if you haven't watched it. But first, I want to talk about your comments. If you'd like to skip this part, go here and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, now that you've made your decision to stay, if I don't address your exact comment, I'm sorry. There was a lot of duplicates, so I'll just pick one at random. Okay, I gotta say, part 1 really did kick up a stir. I learned a lot of things I was doing wrong. For one, this comment. I'm sorry. It makes perfect sense, but I did not know you could play Destiny 1. I thought the servers might be down or like they've deleted it or something like that. So if I could take back time, I would definitely play Destiny 1 first. Listen, I'm sorry for what I said about Cade. It's just that I never really actually played that part of the story. So to me, it was kind of like when you're back from summer holidays and your school friends are telling you about that funny guy they met over the summer break. Ah yeah, this. Okay, I admit I was wrong. My initial opinion of the season pass was pretty icky. But from everything I've heard from the veterans, they seem pretty chill with it, and after looking now, I guess I'm not that upset about it anymore. I am upset, however, about Bungie firing a bunch of their customer support staff, because this video will prove that they were in fact necessary. Hey man, the ending is just for you, alright? No, I will definitely never do that. That is witchcraft. I don't want to hear it. Another point I made in part 1 was how good the cinematics and everything looked, considering it's a free-to-play game. You guys have definitely enlightened me to the fact that not only was this once not a free experience, but after you play for a bit, you quickly have to break out the piggy bank, so I would like to cordially retract my praise. To be clear, it's still a good looking game, but it better be for the money people have spent on it. Okay, last one. I was pissed off that Cade's death was immediately spoiled for me, and apparently that was the point of the mission, as in it was meant to be all about revenge, so I'm cool with that. But from my perspective, I didn't have any attachment to the character, and it was my first time seeing Cade, so it definitely felt like a nothing burger. Okay, that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of the video, and shout out to this comment. After the last mission I did from part 1, I logged off and went on with my day. The next morning, I logged back in, and the moment I started the game, I was blasted with a cutscene that seemed kind of major. I didn't even get to see the main menu of the game. I pressed play and in I was. Now, because of that, I wasn't recording from the beginning, so we will start from whatever that point was. Now, the cutscene was a bit long, and I bet most of you have already watched it, so I'll just summarize it for those who haven't. Okay, basically, big white sphere thing shoots at big triangle / pyramid thing, and inside there is a representation of Sasuke if he grew up watching Star Wars and stayed inside all day, who seemed unpleased like a typical Sasuke would, so he approaches menacingly. Important character of unknown origin number 1 then says,
"Whatever that thing is, we gotta take it down,"
and proceeds to prove gender driving stereotypes to the entire world. In the meantime, Sasuke does some intimidating Lego ninjutsu and makes Lego blocks of everything around him. Then, big white sphere thing, not having any friends to use the power of friendship, gives up, and people die. Sasuke approaches closer and looks cool, so my friend on Discord goes, Sasuke speaks, and voice in dark states obvious.
Don't die.
Hey, that's me. And I get forced to help out. I guess fair enough if the world is ending, but my gear was laughably underpowered, although it seemed the game corrected for that, thank god. Anyway, I crawl through some tunnels and get faced with my greatest challenge. A trophy. Clearly mocking me for my failures in basketball when I was in high school. So I let my anger out on this orange thing, and my school bullies entered to mock me some more. Then I snapped out of my therapy session and remembered I had a grenade, so I threw it at this big guy and remembered again why I failed in basketball. Then I proceed going through some tunnels, but I'm feeling badass because I was slowly falling in love with my primary. I mean, it literally has a knife on the end. It's cool. Useless on a gun, but cool. So I set out to disable the ship's computer core because sci-fi. I steal this guy's oversized key card and head back down to the core. I get through the door and we start contemplating if this was the right idea.
But feel like we should have stayed behind to protect the Traveler and our people. Was it the right choice to follow Osiris?
I feel like this is a bit of a theme now, but I'm confused as to what the veil is. Well, I didn't get much chance to think about it, as I had to kill Death the Reaper himself, but then he noticed I had a sick knife on my gun and he got scared. I chased after, but I got locked in a room where I stole a key card and entered the core, and Yeah, that looks just like any other computer to me. I was a bit busy with killing some bots when I realized to disable the core I just needed to play a Warframe mission of sabotage. After the core was disabled, I made my way to the surface anticipating some more Star Wars action, and I was not disappointed. I mean, look at this.
Look, down there. Callus's flagship. He's heading right for the surface.
Yeah, I get why every Destiny player is obsessed with this game. This is amazing. Inspired, I proceeded to make my way through the level flawlessly. Well, I made a few mistakes, like raising Osiris, cause he was acting like a little cunt.
If you aren't going to help me, then leave me alone.
But I did just what he asked, because suicide sounded nice right about now. Destroyed the engine, got trapped in a few places, and then finally got a rematch with Death himself. In which I definitely did not hide like a little scared baby half of the time, and I didn't miss a single ability, proving how superior I am. After I killed Death, the Reaper of Souls himself, I went to face my biggest challenge yet, spending a day with my disobedient child. I got sealed in the capsule and shot off, landing on Neptune. Just my luck, I landed on the most boring planet of them all. I mean, if it was Uranus, I could at least made a funny pun or something, but I admit, Neptune looks cool. Kinda weird the whole time they didn't know there was an entire civilization here, but the good news is that apparently
We're fighting the same enemy. We're here to find something called the Veil.
no one knows what the Veil is. While looking around though, I found this green goop and I decided to look within. And I got some green power that was so fun. I got to swing around like Spider-Man and I got to whip people. It was some serious cathartic fun. I mean, look at how cool this looks. Keyword looks, as I really sucked at using it. It didn't last much though. It got sucked out of me by the gods of Antifun, and then I met
The Neo Muna.
fucking Nimbus.
On your face! Hey, I had that one.
Activate Windows.
We don't like to waste time.
Oh, good. There isn't a moment to lose.
We regroup at the watchtower.
You don't understand. We've got to get to the Veil.
I understand what's at stake, Lightbearer. Far better than you. Not all of us have lives to spare.
Then why is Nimbus taking the piss?
Good. I control them.
Overall, this bit of Lightfall was pretty entertaining. A lot of boom boom and kapow. So I quite enjoyed it, and naively, I did think I would get to unlock the mysterious green power. So I went to speak with Nimbus, hoping he might give it to me. But all he offered was a threesome and a gift basket, so I went to do some real quests instead. I had a look over the timeline and it seemed that at this point I had done all the free quests that I could. So I was excited to actually get to free play and grind out some stuff. Starting with gazing into the abyss. But first, my power level. My power level was at 1650 and I wanted to at least reach the soft cap of 1750 and do a raid. So I went to shore, took every bounty and went to town actually experiencing Destiny 2. I did my first patrol and went along just killing dudes with my awesome looking weapon. Did a few public events and I quickly learned the spots to hang around in. Items with a higher power level were dropping quickly, but I was still completely oblivious to this part of the weapon and all I was interested in was this big shiny number. And I gotta be honest, that day I have about 4 hours of footage of me just doing events and bounties. I had a lot of fun, even though I was basically doing the same mission over and over. over again. Even after I was done with the bounties that Shaw gave me, I kept doing public events. I even learned where enemies would drop and preemptively drop a grenade so no one else could get to them before me. By the end of the day, I had discovered mods. Well, I say discovered very loosely, as I just put anything on there that I could, not really reading too much into it. And I had reached a power level of 1673. But what matters was I had a lot of fun, so the next morning I woke up 2 hours earlier just so I could spend 2 more hours with the game. The drug that Destiny is was now coursing through my veins. Talking about that morning, when I started the game, it immediately started playing a cutscene for me, like with Lightfall. And I thought it was another weird DLC, but after watching through it, I found out it was the trailer or intro or whatever for the Season of the Witch. Great info, but I had no idea what to do with it. I didn't know if it was a quest I could do, or if it meant nothing, or everything, who knows? Well, at least it didn't launch me into a quest I didn't select. Oh boy. I was given a quick brief, a staff, a slap on the butt cheek, and I was off. I walked into some religious nuts, I slaughtered them, I had a parkour challenge, it slaughtered me. Yeah, I mean, I beat it, then I destroyed the crystal and got absolutely destroyed by a floating rock who thought knives on guns are stupid. Then I used some magic and created an elevator that led me to the bell, where I killed the guy. Very slowly, but in style. And then walked into a ritual that unfortunately I had to hijack. More specifically, I had to take this crystal, move it over there, kill a super cool looking guy and hit this crystal, and then this crystal, and then that crystal, and then this crystal, and then this crystal. Exciting gameplay over here, I know. Kill a boss, and now we had a bridge to the good stuff. But before that, I did the unthinkable and read through what my favorite gun does. Can you imagine this weapon gets more damage per kill and also regens my melees? Cause I couldn't. With my newfound knowledge, I was ready to meet Sauron, the witch. I went by the door, I opened it, and I ended up in space. Turned out, I was queuing for a lobby, and before I could make up my mind, fate had decided for me, and we were loading into a game. Keep in mind, I'm going into this with 1680 power. I was struggling. The majority of the time I spent either behind the wall or dead. I would get revived and within seconds, be dead. But the worst part was that this is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to increase my power level and farm up. I was here against my will, so I had to do my team dirty, and I left. I still feel bad about leaving like that, but I guess I was more of a hindrance than a help. Back in the tower, I went to Ikora to unlock some stuff, and I had completed Gazing into the Abyss. That was easy. So I took another quest from her called Into the Abyss, cause I was bored to look at it. But I was happy to find out I could now use void magic and lightning stuff. I headed straight into the steps to play with my new toys and do some bounties, and complete quests that asked me to kill enemies with every ability, and as a reward I got a cool exotic weapon. I spent a long time doing these quests and I did it all in the steps, and get this, I found out I could not stay here and go somewhere else. So I went to Nessus for the first time. Went through the quest and got my first exotic helmet. Getting this really increased the Destiny 2 content running in my bloodstream. It was so addictive. With the helmet equipped, I was now at 1693, getting really close to my goal, at which point I will do my first raid, and I'm sure you're all wondering how that went. Well, let me speed up the process so we can get to that quicker. I did a strike run, I went to get the risk runner, I explored the EDZ, I did a lot of public events, got me some more exotics, subclasses, and I reached Guardian rank 3. Did another strike, and here is the moment I reached 1750. My morale was at an all-time high, but I was a little sad, as all of this happened over the time frame of a week, and along the road, for the purpose of reaching 1750, I had abandoned a friend, someone who was very special to me, and I vowed to save him. So I did more grinding, more googling, more YouTube videos. I used the vault for the first time, I did more bow hunting. I reached rank 4, and it was then I realized how I could save my old friend. I would sacrifice all of the work I had done so far to raise him up to my level, so we can be together again. Perfection. I felt unstoppable. I went to the Gambit and did my first PvP where I was humbled, but I had a lot of fun. I was at the peak of my addiction. I was playing day in, day out and I wasn't even doing anything that unique. I was doing more strikes, public events, dailies. I found out how to grind out for the high-end equipment and I was there doing the work with my friend, knife fully erect. And then I reached rank 5. I was ready to do my first raid. Starting the raid, I found out something shocking. My Destiny 2 mentor, the person who got me in this mess to begin with, had actually never done a raid before. So the following is a retelling of two idiots trying to complete their first raid, thinking it would take an hour. Enjoy. Our first challenge was picking a raid and actually starting it. This was more complicated than the raiding part, and I blame myself for trusting Bungie. The problem was my friend had bought some or maybe even all expansions, but I was still a free-to-play player, so I needed to do an account verification. To do that, the game took me to the Bungie website, where they asked me for my phone number. I wrote it down and waited for the verification code to arrive. And I waited. Okay, maybe I wrote it down wrong. Did it again. Nope. Got my friend's number. No code. My girlfriend's number. No luck there either. I had no way of verifying my phone number. Bungie, if you're watching this, please don't copyright strike. Fix this! I'm fine with verifying my account if it actually works. I used 3 different phone numbers and none of them worked. Ever. No code was ever received. Please fix this. And yeah, maybe I could have contacted customer support at the time and waited for a response that probably would have taken forever because, you know, you fired half of your staff. So I caved in. I wanted to do a raid and the only other way to get to that content was to pay. I bought the Forsaken DLC. A terrible experience. You practically forced me to buy a DLC by essentially lying that I could do a raid for free. Anyway, we were primed and ready to do a raid now. And I decided to have a look at what gear my friend had. And oh my god, look at this. These are so cool, but I will leave it to a vote in the comments. My erect knife gun or these stupid space dragon weapons? I think we both know who would win. Well, let the King's Fall raid begin. I couldn't wait and immediately grabbed the bow, even though I did not know what it was, what I was doing with it, and it took us a while to figure out how to get past this black wall. And we didn't really figure it out, it just came down on its own. So I immediately rushed in and started running along here, only to find out I would take damage, but did that stop me? No. I just kept running, my friend already died, I jumped over the bridge, but the game got a bit upset with me, and then I watched my friend do the same thing again because we were basically sharing a singular brain cell at this point. Laugh all you want, but we found 2 doors. We went through the first one and found one of these relics, and using bro science we deducted we had to grab it and smash it into one of those relic things. Our first few attempts were a miserable failure, so we went through door number 2 where we found another relic and failed to get it back more than once. According to the raw footage, it took us 23 minutes to figure out how to pick up the relic without immediately dying. After we did, our plan was one of us would pick up the relic and the other would protect him and get him through the doors. Okay, here we go, first try. I picked up the relic, my friend forgot to open the door for me for at least a minute, but once he did, I was running like a quarterback or a striker or whatever American football person and I was going for that hole-in-one. I was clear, and there was one final door before I was able to deposit the relic. My friend broke the door and I slam-dunked it with the crowd going wild, but something was wrong. The statue didn't close like the first one did. Not to worry, as we actually didn't notice. And we just went to the next room to pick up the next one. So my friend picked up the relic and ran to the statue. I opened the door and my recording froze. But in short, he got there but the relic disappeared and he wasn't able to place it. We tried again and he slam-dunked it, only for the statue to not close again, and then a light bulb went on in our head. This isn't working. Okay, new plan. Maybe we need to bring both bows at the same time, but how would we get past the black walls? Parkour. We would grab the bow and use it to jump to the pillar, then to the platform and into the statues. Was it stupid? Yeah. Did I care? No, because I finally got to show off my Minecraft parkour skills. So that's what we did. Again and again and again. It was a good 40 minutes of trying to get both bows to the statue, so it was quite some time before we asked ourselves, Is this even possible with 2 people? And a quick Google search revealed the answer to be no. It was impossible for just the 2 of us to complete it. Okay, we need people. I went to Discord while my friend tried this Destiny app that allows you to post your lobby and people could join it. Why this isn't inbuilt into the game itself, I could not tell you. And after ages of waiting, 2 people joined. They left because my friend had posted the wrong raid. And it was now 2 AM, so we made the decision to quit. I'm not going to lie. This was very demoralizing, not being able to find 2 more people to do the raid with, but for the experience that I had, just me and my friend, it was crazy fun. Rewatching the footage, we are both laughing 80% of the time. We did cry for 20% of it, but it was worth it. Would I do it again? Sure. Will it be anytime soon? Definitely not. Looking at my journey through Destiny 2, I can clearly see how I have progressed. From my humble beginnings of not knowing what button to press for melee to doing my first raid. They were both failures, I still get the wrong button. But I'm done here for now. This is the end of an era.